DeFi, or Decentralized Finance, is one of the most revolutionary applications of blockchain technology. It lets you borrow, lend, trade, and earn interest on your crypto without banks or traditional financial institutions. But with hundreds of DeFi platforms available, which ones are actually worth using for beginners? In this video, I'll break down the top 5 DeFi platforms for beginners in 2026, explaining what each platform does, how it works, the risks involved, and which one might be right for you. Let's dive in. Before we jump into specific platforms, let's quickly recap what DeFi actually is. Traditional finance requires intermediaries like banks, brokers, and exchanges to facilitate transactions. DeFi replaces these intermediaries with smart contracts, which are self-executing code on blockchains like Ethereum. This means you can lend money and earn interest, borrow against your crypto, trade tokens, or provide liquidity to earn fees, all without a bank or company controlling the process. The smart contract handles everything automatically based on predetermined rules. The first platform every beginner should know about is Uniswap. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange, or DEX, built on Ethereum. Instead of placing buy and sell orders like traditional exchanges, Uniswap uses automated market makers, or AMMs. Users deposit pairs of tokens into liquidity pools, like ETH and USDC. When someone wants to trade ETH for USDC, the smart contract automatically executes the trade from the pool. The people who provided liquidity earn a small fee from every trade. Uniswap is extremely popular because it's simple to use and supports thousands of tokens, including many that aren't available on centralized exchanges. You connect your wallet like MetaMask, select the tokens you want to swap, and the transaction happens in seconds. The main risk with Uniswap is that you're responsible for your own security. If you approve a malicious smart contract or get scammed, there's no customer service to help. Always verify token contract addresses before swapping to avoid fake tokens. The second essential platform is Aave. Aave is a lending and borrowing protocol. You can deposit crypto like ETH or stablecoins and earn interest as other users borrow your deposits. The interest rates are variable and adjust based on supply and demand. If lots of people want to borrow ETH, interest rates for lenders go up. If few people are borrowing, rates go down. Aave supports many different cryptocurrencies and stablecoins across multiple blockchains, including Ethereum, Polygon, and Avalanche. Borrowing on Aave works differently than traditional loans. You don't fill out applications or get credit checks. Instead, you deposit crypto as collateral and borrow against it. The loan is over-collateralized, meaning you must deposit more value than you borrow. For example, to borrow $1,000 worth of stablecoins, you might need to deposit $1,500 worth of ETH. This protects lenders, because if your collateral value drops too much, the protocol automatically liquidates it to repay the loan. Aave is useful if you want to access cash without selling your crypto, or if you're using leverage strategies, though beginners should be very careful with borrowing. The third platform is Curve Finance. Curve specializes in stablecoin swaps and earns a reputation for having the lowest slippage and best rates when trading between different stablecoins like USDC, DAI, and USDT. It also supports swaps between different versions of the same asset, like different wrapped versions of Bitcoin or Ethereum staking derivatives. Curve uses unique AMM algorithms optimized for assets that should have similar values. Curve also offers liquidity provision opportunities where you can deposit stablecoins into pools and earn trading fees, plus often additional rewards in Curve's native token. The yields can be attractive, especially for stablecoin holders who want to earn more than traditional savings accounts without exposure to crypto price volatility. However, Curve's interface is less beginner-friendly than Uniswap or Aave. It assumes you understand concepts like liquidity, provision, and impermanent loss. For pure stablecoin swaps, it's excellent, but providing liquidity requires more research. The fourth platform is Lido. Lido is a liquid staking protocol primarily for Ethereum. Remember that Ethereum uses proof of stake, which requires staking 32 ETH to run a validator. Most people don't have 32 ETH, or the technical knowledge to run a validator. Lido solves this by pooling users' ETH together and handling the staking infrastructure. You can stake any amount of ETH with Lido and receive staked ETH in return. The brilliant part is that staked ETH is a liquid token you can use elsewhere in DeFi while still earning staking rewards. You could deposit staked ETH into Aave as collateral, provide liquidity on Curve, or use it in other DeFi protocols, all while continuing to earn staking yields. This composability is one of DeFi's most powerful features. The main risks with Lido are smart contract risk, where bugs could cause loss of funds, and the risk that staked ETH depegs from ETH if something goes wrong with Lido or Ethereum staking itself. However, Lido is one of the largest and most audited DeFi protocols with billions in deposits. The fifth platform is MakerDAO. MakerDAO is the protocol behind DAI, one of the most important decentralized stablecoins. DAI maintains its $1 peg, not through centralized reserves like USDC, but through over-collateralized loans. Users deposit crypto like ETH into Maker vaults and mint DAI against that collateral. The system maintains the peg through various mechanisms, including interest rates and liquidations. For beginners, MakerDAO is interesting primarily as a way to understand how decentralized stablecoins work and potentially to borrow DAI against your crypto holdings. You might use this if you want to keep your ETH exposure but need liquidity. The risks are similar to Aave: liquidation if your collateral value drops too much, plus the additional complexity of understanding how DAI maintains its peg. MakerDAO has operated successfully since 2017, making it one of the oldest and most battle-tested DeFi protocols. Now, let's talk about risks that apply to all DeFi platforms. Smart contract risk is the biggest concern. Even audited smart contracts can have undiscovered bugs. Hackers have stolen hundreds of millions from DeFi protocols by exploiting contract vulnerabilities. While the platforms I've mentioned are well established and heavily audited, risk never drops to zero. Only use DeFi with amounts you can afford to lose. Impermanent loss affects liquidity providers on platforms like Uniswap and Curve. When you provide liquidity, you deposit two tokens in equal value. If one token's price changes significantly relative to the other, you end up with more of the less valuable token and less of the more valuable one. You might have been better off just holding both tokens separately. The trading fees you earn can offset this, but for volatile pairs, impermanent loss can be substantial. Gas fees on Ethereum can be very high during network congestion. A simple swap might cost $20 to $100 in gas fees. This makes DeFi impractical for small amounts on Ethereum mainnet. Many DeFi protocols now operate on Layer 2 solutions, like Arbitrum and Optimism, or alternative chains, like Polygon and Avalanche, where fees are much lower. If you're starting with small amounts, use these cheaper networks. Scams and fake tokens are rampant in DeFi. Anyone can create a token and list it on Uniswap. Scammers create tokens with names similar to legitimate projects, pump the price with fake volume, then dump on unsuspecting buyers. Always verify contract addresses through official sources. And never trust random tips about new tokens in social media or Discord. Complexity is a barrier for beginners. DeFi assumes you understand concepts like slippage, gas optimization, approvals, and collateralization ratios. Mistakes can be expensive. If you send tokens to the wrong address or approve a malicious contract, your funds are gone with no recourse. Start very small while learning. Consider testnet versions of these protocols to practice without risking real money. For absolute beginners, my recommendation is to start with Uniswap for simple token swaps and Lido for ETH staking. These two platforms are relatively straightforward and have good user interfaces. Uniswap lets you experience decentralized trading. Lido lets you earn staking yields without technical complexity. Once comfortable with these, explore Aave for lending and borrowing, then Curve for stablecoin optimization. Avoid providing liquidity or using leverage until you thoroughly understand the mechanics and risks. Many beginners jump into liquidity provision, attracted by high yields without understanding impermanent loss. They end up losing money despite earning fees. Education first, yield farming second. Use established wallets like MetaMask and enable security features. Never share your seed phrase. Be extremely cautious about transaction approvals. When a DeFi site asks you to approve spending your tokens, you're giving that smart contract permission to move your tokens. If you approve a malicious contract, it can drain your wallet. Only approve from sites you absolutely trust. Keep track of your DeFi positions and the protocols you've interacted with. Unlike centralized exchanges where everything shows in one dashboard, DeFi activities are spread across different protocols and chains. Use portfolio trackers like Zapper or Debank to see all your positions in one place and monitor their performance. The DeFi landscape changes rapidly. New protocols launch, old ones get exploited, yields fluctuate, regulations evolve. Stay informed about the protocols you use. Follow their official Twitter or Discord for announcements. If you hear about an exploit or vulnerability, assess whether your funds are at risk and act accordingly. My honest take is that DeFi represents genuine financial innovation with real benefits like permissionless access, transparency, and composability. However, it comes with significant risks and complexity. For beginners, start small, use well-established protocols like the 5 I've covered, and prioritize learning over chasing yields. DeFi isn't going away, so there's no rush to jump in with large amounts before you understand what you're doing. Take your time, do your research, and only use DeFi when you genuinely understand the mechanics and risks. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe. In the next video, I'll cover DeFi risks in detail, explaining exactly what can go wrong and how to protect yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.